Hello, my name is Syhifa Farhatunnisa. I am from class 3B. My student number is 22232201004. Here I will explain the result of the analysis of the paper with the title Study Abroad Contribution to Critical Thinking and World Citizenship. And three are the points: opening, body, and closing. In this opening, I will tell the paper is about. First, about the paper. This paper addresses the defense the two theses of Richard Powell and Linda Panetta. Second, this is which explain the creative thinking and critical thinking cannot be spouted. The second describes the intellectual traits that make up critical thinking that are interconnected. And who wrote the paper? This name Ming Q Dian is Associate Professor of Philosophy and Catechology Coordinator at Eastern Kentucky University. Why the paper is written? This paper will be combined with the thesis put forward by Richard Powell and Linda Panetta regarding overseas learning and training student creativity and criticality as well as intellectual growth. This paper recommended policies and practice that help to answer the benefits that. Okay, in the body, there are also 8 points which I will explain. First, the benefits of study abroad. Most people think that studying abroad can change their lives for the better, providing a positive influence on student maturity, education, and career paths, such as increasing self-confidence, improving critical thinking, developing their perspective on the world, and understanding cultural values, and so on. Second, beyond the cultural and linguistic benefits, demonstrating the student participates in studying abroad not only elevates intellectual communication skill to a higher level, they also adopt because culture is a previous force influencing and shaping every aspect of a person's life. So adapting yourself to a new culture, learning how to behave and think in different ways in dealing with exciting problem situations. 3. The inseparability of creativity and criticality. Consider the inseparability of creativity and criticality. Thinking both creative and critical is a cognitive achievement, something that the mind must achieve. Creative thinking involves process, create, or construct, while critical thinking involves the process of evaluating or appraising. When engaged in thinking that healthy, especially in the self-reflective way, one cannot help but be perform creative and critical function simultaneously. That's thought. Mature cannot form high-quality thought without exercise is valued, and such ascertainment extends to components which is very important. Also unable to provide reasonable criticism without any creative effort because he has to image alternative possibilities and compelling analysis and interpretation incorporate. To produce is to judge, evaluate is to produce. Therefore, creativity requires criticality and pitch versa, overlapping and interacting is an aspect of the excellency of integrated thinking and inseparable. To the extent the creativity implies criticality and interest in creative thinking means interest in thinking critical. The interdependence of intellectual traits. To establish the interdependence thesis, consider intellectual humility. Intellectual humility consists of such knowledge of one's own ignorance. While aware of what we know and what we don't know, we record intellectual integrity and intellectual courage. Intellectual integrity allows us to be honest in our thinking ourselves and recognize the limits of our knowledge as well the limitation of our perspective. Will intellectual course allows us to confront bias, prejudice, and whatever else be our own responsibility. Our own cognitive deficiency, intellectual integrity, and intellectual course influence requires intellectual autonomy and intellectual empathy. The cultivation of critical thinking, because it is difficult to think for yourself according to standard rationality, especially if you have to face it and overcome ideas that have strong negative emotion and has not received serious attention. Intellectual autonomy and intellectual integrity require intellectual codes, but also require intellectual perseverance because they are deep past the demands of thinking for themselves and being responsible for our thought. One must always adhere to track and relations and use knowledge and insight as much as possible, even though there are obstacles and difficulties, especially when struggling against uncertainty. The confusion will probably last for a period of time long. The Socratic ideal of rationality. Socrates from Plato demonstrated intellectual humility by admitting ignorance of the truth of the Plato. The matter, truth of the matter, and hence discuss whether it's a pretty ethical, justice, republic, friendship, resist, or knowledge, status. He demonstrated intellectual qualities by challenging ideas and the practice that prevailed in his day, whether, whether it was about temperance, charm, love, symposium, beauty, his measure, or courage, you uncertainty. uncertainty. He saw empathy intellectual by accurately stating, developing and place or position he disagreed with, while making respectful reference to other cultures such Egypt, as Egypt, Pedalus, and Persian law. Socrates is about a supporter and an example of the paradigm critical thinking is quite demanding. Therefore, in improved critical thinking, studying abroad provides contribution to the realization of source ideal of rationality. Contribution consists of helping to grow the individual environment, creative and critical society. Because creative because critical thinking is the primary condition of well-being humans and our only guarantee against delusion, deception, superstition, and misunderstanding. Summer conclude that education is good insofar as it produces ability while developing critical thinking. The Dionysian ideal of cosmopolitanism, studying abroad, sports the goal of several intellectual traits who rely on more than simply a self-report measure, so that students who studying abroad general saw improvement in things following understanding of international and cultural issues, flexibility and the adaptability, new environment, tolerance and calm with people with different culture backgrounds, open-minded and curiosity, an essential skill such as ingenuity, creative thinking, problem solving, decision making, socialization, socialization, negotiation, leadership, and teamwork in the environment diverse culture. Considering the interdependence of intellectual traits, if you study outside the country will promote the development of intellectual humility, intellectual thoughts, intellectual empathy, and intellectual perseverance. This thing will also encourage the development of intellectual integrity, autonomy, intellectual belief, a common sense, and high thinking. With this with these are the intellectual traits that shape critical thinking will improve as does critical thinking itself. A few modest proposals. I would like to conclude with their semantic proposal for ensuring intellectual growth in study about students. First, study abroad will not inexpensive portals the development of informed, critical, and creative thinkers who communicate effectively. To borrow, to borrow a signature course for my university, quality plan, enhancement plan, since such development is crucial, crucial at all steps of education, subject to the relevant budgetary constraints. Study abroad ought to be part of any significant institutional effort to promote critical and creative thinking. Second, considering adaptation is the critical mechanism that underlies the robot's corrective between living opposites and enchant creativity. Study about program ought to be structured in such a way to increase participation. Change of adapting to the host country culture. Third, in recent study, Joshua C. McConnell, no president, proposed then or study above director work dissolve the expansions of studying abroad on her or his or his campus with most actively encouraging it. Yet the kind of inquiry and assessment that typically accompany company pursues program, academic curricula, living learning communities, and other campus programs have less been absent from study abroad. The impact of study abroad on college studying intellectual development. To restitute the situation that ought to be a concrete institutional effort to initiate and post similar kinds of inequality and assessment for study abroad. And finally, in closing, I will explain the benefits of reading this paper, weakness, and future goals. First, the benefits of reading this paper, in my opinion, are very important because the discussion in it shows several aspects for us to build our decision when we want to study abroad. The weaknesses contained in this paper, which I see specifically are several aspects that I disagree with, which, for example, studying abroad can develop our worldview, increase critical thinking, and build creativity. If you want that, why not try to study within the country first? In my opinion, it is not necessary to go abroad, but well, leave it up to you if you're interested in that. For future action on studying abroad, maybe I personally don't have plans for that yet because of several reasons, or maybe if there is an opportunity, I will definitely accept it, and if it's about for just traveling. I think it's good because we can get to know our present culture as well while learning. Hopefully, it will happen to all of us to be able to study abroad. That's all for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.